Hello, everyone. Welcome to ELI, the only podcast in India where we bring a new founder on every episode to talk about their journey and their story of building a startup. And today we have with us Shyam Panda, who not only built one, but rather he has built two startups in his career. He's the founder of DiLytics, which is a systems integration and solution partner that is completely focused on analytics, data intelligence, data warehousing, ETL data integration, and enterprise performance management solutions. Sham has also founder of a consumer app called Slash, which is a digital marketplace for home and living services, helping consumers find local services in categories like beauty, home care, pet care, health and spa, tutoring, and so on. Hi, Sham. Welcome to ELI.
Hi, Priyaranjan. Thanks for having me on your podcast.
It's our pleasure to have you on our platform. To start with, would request you to introduce yourself to our audience. Tell us a bit about your background prior to entrepreneurship. Where were you born and brought up? Where did you study? Where did you work? And what all events has happened over in your life that has led to entrepreneurship?
Sure. I was born in a small town in the state of Odisha, a small
Wow.
town called Sambalpur. And after that, we moved to the capital city of Odisha, Bhubaneswar, which is where I did most of my schooling years. I spent my schooling all the way through to 12th. I studied in the state board public schools.
Okay.
Uh, and then I moved on to do my engineering at NIT Rourkela.
Wow.
And after that, I did MBA from Xavier's Institute of Management, Bhubaneswar.
Right.
So that's all about my education. Then I moved on to Bangalore to start my career in the software industry. Worked in Bangalore for 5 years, then moved to the US and worked at Oracle Corporation. And after working for 4 years at Oracle headquarters in their data analytics product, managing, as a product manager, then I decided to start my first startup, DiLytics. So
Got it.
that's briefly how my life journey has happened from birth until starting my first startup.
But was there a trigger point? Usually, what happens is sometimes founders need a trigger to jump from a traditional path of doing a job. Job brings us so much of security. Everybody sort of looks forward to a job, especially for a tech giant like Oracle. What made you to think about entrepreneurship?
So entrepreneurship is something that I didn't think about overnight. It has been an ambition for a long time coming, especially after I started working in the software industry in Bangalore. I got to hear and learn about a lot of entrepreneurs,
Mm-hmm.
both in the Indian industry as well as globally, who have inspired many other entrepreneurs. And I just happen to be one more such entrepreneur who has been inspired by many others. So that burning desire, burning ambition was there for a long time. And after I moved to the US and worked for Oracle Corporation for 4 years, being in the Silicon Valley, the inspiration was all the more exponentially high, which drove me to take the risk of leaving the comfort zone of having a job
Mhm.
and start my first venture.
Got it. Got it. I think moving to US, I think has that been a pivotal moment in your career because US as a market, it's very forward looking towards entrepreneurship. Sort of encourages people to pursue their own dreams and build their own ventures. Has that been a motivating factor for you?
Definitely, in a way, yes. Because when you move internationally from one end of the world to the other end, you pretty much start a new life, right? You're building a new life from scratch.
Right.
And in a way, you feel like you have nothing to lose because you're starting afresh anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and on top of that, you have all the inspiration of Silicon Valley. that, if somebody is ambitious in the entrepreneurial space, I think Silicon Valley will be irresistible for them
Absolutely.
as a place where they would want to start their entrepreneurial journey. So US, especially Silicon Valley, has played a big role in me jumping into the entrepreneurial journey.
Mhm. Got it. Uh, let's talk about the inception of DiLytics, especially in the early days. What was the problem that you saw in the whole ecosystem that you went after solving through DiLytics?
So, when I was at Oracle as the product manager for Oracle's data analytics product, we worked with many different stakeholders in the, data analytics product space,
Mhm.
from product development to product support to product sales to product implementation by Oracle partners. And I noticed, time and time again that over the 4 years of my time at Oracle, uh, it wasn't easy for all the Oracle partners to implement the Oracle data analytics product for customers. There were many successful implementations, but also at the same time, there were many failed implementations as well. And me being a product manager for the data analytics product, I knew the product in and out.
Mhm.
I thought I may not be able to implement all the customers' requirements in, all over the world, but
Mhm.
the ones that we take up, we will ensure that the customer's implementation is successful. So
Okay.
that was, the confidence or the background with which I started DiLytics.
Got it. And how did you search for customers? I assume the customers that you went after were very different from what a company like Oracle would serve, because Oracle goes after the large customers, enterprises like Fortune 500 companies. But as a individual solopreneur or a first time entrepreneur, large companies wouldn't, probably trust you with giving out large projects, especially in the domain of data. So what kind of customers did you go after?
So, having come out of the Oracle ecosystem, I had great relationships within the Oracle sales team, pre-sales team, product development team, product support team. And I mean, Oracle works with large enterprises, but they also work with mid-market, mid-sized customers as well.
Mhm.
So, our target market was the mid-sized, mid-market Oracle customers who, won't be able to afford the big players, in the system integration space for their data analytics project. So, so that's how we started, targeting the mid-market customers, and specifically we chose, one or two vertical to develop expertise into, and that happened to be pharma, life sciences, and manufacturing.
Wow,
So that was the industry vertical in which we started implementing data analytics solutions for customers.
got it. And once you got projects, because it's a services business, at one point you would have found out that there is just so much of work that you or maybe a small team can handle, and that's when you probably would have thought about expanding the team. How did you go about hiring and or incorporating a formal corporation and formalizing the business?
Yeah, I mean, incorporating a business, that's probably the simplest and easiest part of starting a business, right? Anybody can do those paperwork through an agency. So that's the path I took as well, just registering a company. But as we started going from one customer to second customer to multiple projects, it was very clear that I, as the only one, will not be able to do all these implementations by myself, right? So it was pretty clear within a few months that I will need to start hiring.
Mhm.
And one of the things that I think many entrepreneurs do is hire people from their network, people that they already have worked with in the past.
Mhm.
So the first few people that I chose were either people that I knew that I had worked with, or people that my contacts knew because they had worked with them. and had given me the thumbs up that, these are some great guys, great people that you would love to work with. So that's how I got my first few members in the team. And then, after that, not every hire can come through contacts. After that, you will have to streamline your recruiting process to also hire from the market as well.
All right. And I think a big part of your overall operation is coming out of India. I think in India, you have set up a delivery center where, a lot of great technology managers, developers are working on clients from US and other markets. So how has that been a opportunity for you?
Well, in the IT services space, right, system integration space, having an offshore development center is like table stakes, right? It is not a competitive advantage. It is a must-have if any company wants to survive and compete in the system integration space. Then one has to have some level of offshore component in their business. And me, coming from India, obviously, we already know about the Indian landscape, right? Technology landscape, cultural landscape, the geographical landscape. And so I have a partner in Hyderabad who made sure to, start the operations on the ground, made sure that all the facilities and administrative stuff were taken care of for us to get a grounding. And after that, hiring people through the recruiting agencies initially, and then later on having our own recruitment team.
Understood. Tell us a bit about the evolution of this venture. So you started out in 2011. It was a very different world back then. The cloud was pretty new, and companies were thinking about, let's automate few things around data. But now it's a completely different world. Everybody is talking about AI, and data integration is just a bare minimum that every company has to do. So over the years, how has the market shifted? How has your company pivoted? And what are the inflection points? For example, with the governments changing, the data norms are also changing. There are new data protection bills and so on. So that is coming up. Data sovereignty is a new concept which has come up. And yeah, I mean, a lot is happening. What has been some of the inflection points over the years for you?
See, for us, when we started, everything was on premise, right? Everything was customers' own data center, their own servers, which is where data analytics software used to reside. But pretty soon, maybe after 4 or 5 years, cloud started making ground in the data analytics space, and we were one of the first few within the data analytics ecosystem that started doing cloud analytics deployment projects, both in the commercial private sector space as well as in the public sector space. We, after initially working focused completely on the private sector, for pharma and life sciences, for food and beverages, for semiconductor, we also started working with the public sector agencies, who were also equally keen to move to cloud or even start in cloud. So that was quite exciting in 2015, 2016, when cloud transition started happening. But over the last 2 years, since the spread of ChatGPT like wildfire, now AI is everywhere, right? It's not just limited to a few different use cases or applications, but it's everywhere. And when it comes to analytics, it is the way to go forward. Everything that we do in analytics is going to change from doing development for every question that the business users have. Either they already have a dashboard or they have to build new dashboards for any new questions that they have that they want to get answers to, which is time taking, effort intensive, and by the time they get the insights, it's too late, right, for them to make those decisions and take the action. Versus with the AI-driven analytics, all they have to do is just ask questions as if they are asking a data scientist
Yeah.
who otherwise would have taken a few days, if not a few weeks, to get back with the answers to those questions. Now AI can answer those questions in real time.
Hmm.
So you don't have the cost involved with a data scientist, right? You don't have the time involved that it takes to get answers to your questions. You can have conversational insights to your questions in real time, and then actions can be also taken instantaneously without waiting for days or weeks.
Got it.
So
Got it.
yeah, that's the only way analytics is going to go, from here on.
Yeah, this is an interesting point because I have been hearing a lot of debate on AI taking away jobs, and you spoke about data scientists. So, if I may, derail from the conversation a little bit, and would like to hear your comment on the field of data scientists. How is it going to evolve? Because as you rightly mentioned, you can simply feed in the data pipeline to the AI model, and it will probably glance through a large set of data and come up with very precise reports for your query, and that would happen instantaneously, if not within 5 minutes. And that process essentially sort of eliminates the role of a data scientist. How would you comment on that?
Yeah, just with every other space where AI is getting relevant more and more deeply, and it's even if it's not eliminating jobs 100%, but it is reducing the amount of work that needs to be done by human beings, right? To the extent of 60%, 70%.
Mhm.
So it would be the same case, at least in the near future, that data scientists will not be eliminated, but the number of hours that they had to use for a specific set of questions will reduce by 60, 70% at least.
Mm.
Um, so does it mean that it will be like that forever? I don't think so. No, at some point, when AI is mature enough that it does not have any hallucination issues, then probably that's probably a theoretical question to answer as to when that is going to happen.
Right.
Uh, but at some point, it's definitely going to happen. But right now, if we needed 10 data scientists for a set of 100 business users or 200 business users, now we will need 3 or
Mm-hmm.
4 instead of 10, right? So AI still needs to be provided with the data pipelines, the data infrastructure. So that technical work does not go away, at least not in the immediate future.
Mm-hmm.
That may also get automated, at some point in future. But in the immediate future, we still need to take care of those technical aspects of the
Mm.
building the data infrastructure for AI to actually be able to provide insights to the questions.
Got it. The next thing I'm pretty curious to understand on the debate of cloud versus on-premise. So I was involved in a banking project where the bank was very cautious about using any cloud product because they want complete control of the data they are storing, and it has to be on their own servers. And on the internet, I've been seeing advocates of both sides. So some people say that on-premise data is the future because AI is, not reliable. If you host your data on cloud, it can be hacked, and you just don't have the control over it. Same with the cloud. There are advocates of cloud. They're saying cloud is very secure these days. It's more secure than your on-premise data, and it reduces the cost and everything. So all the pointers that come around cloud. So what would be your thought on that? How do you foresee the whole debate of cloud and on-premise going further? And especially in the context of enterprises, banks and financial institutions, they're pretty concerned about how their data is stored and used. So what would be your comment on that?
I mean, to me, the debate about cloud versus on-premise is a dead debate, right? I mean, cloud is the only way to go forward. So cloud is similar to outsourcing, right? So outsourcing is not just about cost. Sometimes outsourcing may not be cost effective, but it's about getting the absolute best expertise or skill that a team or a company has, which is better than one company can have. So if a company is only taking care of data center business for hundreds of customers, thousands of customers, then they can do the job of data center management 100 times or 1,000 times better than any one company.
Right.
So by being on-premise, a company's data is no more secure. In fact, it is rather, it's at risk because they are only managing their own data, whereas the cloud company is managing hundreds, thousands of companies' data, and that's something that they have built expertise on for years. So there's no one company that can do that better than them, irrespective of whether they're cost effective or not. So I don't think cloud is cheaper than on-premise. So cost is not the consideration here. As far as I see it, it is more about expertise and the skill that cloud company brings in terms of keeping the system's data secure, and then scaling it, right? So if you are running your own data center, your own servers, then for every scaling that you need to do, you need to have that, buying, procuring servers and managing them and all that, which is not your core strength. So that is totally something that is, your non-core strength should be outsourced, just like many things get outsourced to other companies that only do that.
Got it. All right.
To me, the debate of cloud versus on-premise is a outdated debate at this point.
Yeah. So now would love to hear about your other venture Slash, which is one of the trending things for you. So what is the genesis of this app? How did you sort of come up with this idea Slash, and what the problem is it solving for the users?
So Slash is something that I had aspired for even before I started DiLytics in 2011. In fact, I started DiLytics just so that I will be able to pursue the idea of Slash at some point when I have generated enough funding through DiLytics to be able to launch the initial product development for Slash.
Right.
So the idea for Slash, came initially through the difficulty of finding somebody to do, household work, when it comes to plumbing or house cleaning, exactly at the time that, we need that work to be done.
Okay.
It involved, online search, making multiple phone calls, looking at my calendar to be able to finally zero in on that one service professional who will be able to provide the service at the time when I need it. Right? So it was at least an hour's job to finally zero in on the service provider, if not multiple hours.
Right.
So that's the initial idea behind starting Slash and solving that problem that any household should be able to find a professional when they need with a few finger taps and be able to make that booking within a minute rather than having to spend almost an hour making numerous calls to finally decide and finalize on the service professional.
Got it.
So that was the idea, and I did not have the technical skills to pursue building something like that. So what I did is instead started DiLytics because I had the technical skills to be able to do anything in data analytics space. And that's what DiLytics was about. So after about 9 years of running DiLytics, I managed to get the initial funding from DiLytics revenues to be able to pursue Slash, in 2020. So that's how the story happened for Slash.
Got it. Uh, so curious to understand one aspect. So Slash is a marketplace offering, and more than technology, it's a play of how much of users can you onboard from both sides. So at one side you have the services providers like plumbers and beauticians and so on, and the other side is the customer. So customers will only log in when there are enough number of people at the other side offering different services, and so will the services provider. They will only register when there are a bunch of customers waiting to get their service. How did you sort of solve that challenge? Because initial days are pretty tough to onboard both side. It's a chicken and egg problem. So how did you go about it?
Well, it's actually not a chicken and egg challenge, for marketplaces. That's how it seems like,
Mhm.
but it's actually pretty clear that we have to onboard the supply side first, the service providers first, irrespective of whether it is a online marketplace
Hmm.
or a physical marketplace, like a brick and mortar shop, right? If you open a shop, you still need to get your stock in your shelves before you can expect customers to come into the shop and start buying.
Mhm.
So, so whether it's a physical brick and mortar marketplace or an online marketplace, digital marketplace, doesn't matter. It's always starts with the supply side, somebody who can provide the either it's goods, it could be groceries, it could be fabric, it could be electronics. No matter what it is, we need to first put them on the shelf before we can make a grand opening for the customers to come in and
Mhm.
start exploring, right? So it's a pretty straightforward thing. It is not immediately obvious until you have actually worked on it for some time. Then it becomes obvious that it's the supply side that's the starting point.
Got it. And since this is very much linked to the local services providers, that means you should have probably piloted in a particular locality. So can you tell us which all cities, which all states have you sort of cracked your app? Got a lot of users and got a lot of services providers onboarded.
So far we are only focused on the city of Hyderabad in India,
Mhm.
and we are still working on the product market fit. We are making progress, every couple of months in that journey. And once we feel that we have reached a certain level of product market fit, then we'll start launching into other cities. So it's inefficient to launch a product in multiple cities until you have reached a certain level of product market fit.
Right. Speaking of Hyderabad, I think in India there is a major player which is Urban Company, and they have sort of cracked this particular space. They're probably the OGs of in this particular segment. How have been competing against them, or what is the differentiator that you are bringing, which their app or their services is not providing?
So, and the first and foremost is that we do dynamic pricing of the services based on many different factors. So the same haircut can be 500 rupees or it can be even 200 rupees, depending on various different factors. But the most obvious ones are demand and supply, right? If it's a Monday morning, then it's not a premium time for a haircut versus, let's say, a Saturday or a Sunday, right? Which is premium time. Most of the people are available. That's when they want to get their haircut done. So that's one of the obvious ones. And then there are many other factors that we take into account into our AI models to do dynamic pricing that works out very well for both the customers as well as for the service providers. So the customers, depending on whether they are busy professionals, they don't have, price sensitivity. For
Mhm.
them, they don't mind paying a higher price on the premium time slots in the weekend, whereas the price-sensitive, value-driven customers who have plenty of time in their hands and would love to save some money on their haircut, they would go for their haircut on a Monday morning or a Tuesday morning. So that's one of the first and foremost key differentiators for us. It maximizes the professionals' utilization of their working hours, right? Because there are customers that are filling up their working hours based on whether they are premium customers or value-driven customers. So their overall time utilization as well as earnings is optimized. And for the customers, depending on, again, whether they're premium, busy professionals customers or value-driven with plenty of time customers, each one has their needs met.
Got it. You also spoke about product market fitment, and I think it's a major thing when you are building a consumer app. You have to be a great product for a particular segment of customers. Then only it will work. So where are you in the whole process of product market fitment? How much of that have you achieved?
So product market fit is not a Boolean like 0 or 1, right? It moves from 0 through decimals, right? And nobody gets to 1, right? Everybody has their own weaknesses and gaps that will continue to be there, and they will continue to fight through that throughout their existence. So in terms of our product market fit, I don't think that there is a formula to calculate whether it's 0.5 or 0.6, but we are halfway there, roughly about halfway there. That's what I would like to assess at this point. And once we make another halfway through, then we will be ready for launch in other places.
Got it. And for regarding the launch at other places, I think Urban Company as a brand, it has cracked the metros really well, but it has not gone after the tier 2 cities and tier 3 cities of India. Do you foresee a big market there, or are you planning to go there by any chance?
I think it's too early to say that. Our first focus would be on the big cities because Hyderabad is a major city in India, and that's why we are progressing on the product market fit. So once we have reached a certain level, we can be certain to a great extent that now it's going to work in other major cities like Bangalore, Delhi, Mumbai, and so on. When it comes to the tier 2 and tier 3 cities, we'll have to make some test launches and then see what tweaks we need to apply to get the product market fit at a relevant level in the tier 2 and tier 3 cities. So that is something that is too early for us to assess right now.
Got it. Finally, here is my last question to you. So being an entrepreneur for over a decade now, what have you learned about entrepreneurship, and how would you advise other entrepreneurs out there to go about their own journey of probably starting a venture and scaling it up?
Well, the biggest learning is that for everything that we try, we're going to fail a lot more than we're going to pass. So if we try 100 things, we're probably going to fail at 80 things or 90 things and succeed at only 10 or 20 things, which can be pretty frustrating, pretty demoralizing. And those who do not have the fire, the restless ambition to achieve what they set out to achieve, then they will give up. So entrepreneurship is all about recognizing that failure is going to be a default result most of the time, and still being able to dust yourself off and get up and start walking again until you find what you set out to reach.
Yeah, Absolutely. I think entrepreneurship is a relentless journey. You have to keep at it until you are successful. On this note, we will close the session. Thanks for joining us, Shyam. It was a pleasure to have you on our platform. And our best wishes for Slash and DiLytics.
Thanks, Priyaranjan, for having me again. It was a pleasure talking to you and sharing my journey so far.
Yeah. Thanks.
Thanks. Bye.